This is Rugby Merlin and welcome back to the channel. This is my preview and prediction video for the epic test matches coming up this weekend. South Africa at home to Argentina. Last week was a hell of a game and it was pretty brutal in Argentina. The heat and humidity was off the charts and I think a couple of the South African players were feeling it. And they just went down to the Pumas in what I think was a pretty classic game and a fantastic win for the Pumas. But the South Africa will be smarting from that, and they're really going to want to put things right and get that fifth rugby championship win this weekend. So I'm sure a lot of the headlines will focus on Libbok missing those kicks late on in the game. South Africa have made a habit of winning games, at the death. And they weren't able to do it this time, and just a little bit of lack of experience from them to seal out the game. But they did make a lot of changes going into that match, and as I said, the conditions weren't conducive to a great performance from them, but they'll definitely be looking to improve, and there'll be a few players coming back into the team this week. I wouldn't say it was Libbok's fault. I hope, from what I've seen, most pundits are not calling that, but he's starting at 10 this week. So Razi, you can say a lot about him, but he's a very loyal man, and he's giving Libbok another choice. Pollard is on the bench, so that's pretty wise, I would think. Libbok in open play is still a fantastic, electric player even, and Pollard has the nous to kind of finish off the game. So a very good start, very good choice there, I think. So last week the Boks went out to a really big early lead, 17-0. It was at one point, and very reminiscent of the New Zealand kind of flow of game in recent matches, where they go out to a big lead and then kind of go to sleep and let the opposition get back into the match. It was a bit like that. And perhaps a lack of leadership in key positions at 9. I think Hendricks is starting this week, so let's see how he goes. And there's some other players coming back into the side, which will certainly provide that experience and leadership. One of the key men, I think Kolisi, is back, as that's a huge boost for South Africa. You could see him last week on the sideline barking orders and encouragement to the team. Eben, when he came on, was absolutely magnificent, completely changed the line out. So those players starting, and Eben is going to beat Matfield's most test appearances, so it's going to be a huge event for South Africa. So with those guys back in, PTSD is back in as well in the back row, and the South African back row again. This Argentinian back row, I love them. Kramer, Matera, those guys are savage, bro. And they got a youngster in there as well at 8. So it's a really good back row, but I think it'll be an amazing contest between them on the weekend. And South Africa probably at home going to get the advantage there. Onto the front rows and the front 5 in general. I personally don't think South Africa dominated the scrum. I've heard a few commentators say that they did. But they had good results, but it wasn't like a linchpin of their performance against the Pumas, I think. So one of the best front rowers on the pitch was Sclavi. He's an absolute animal and good in the loose as well, but and he's very, very young, so he's going to relish the opportunity to go up against that Bok front row. And I think that they had I would say, again, my opinion, I would say a little bit of a wake-up call, because they're always regarded as the best of the best, which is right, but I think they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is this weekend, and I expect them to do so. So I expect a stronger performance from the scrum from South Africa. So that's going to be very interesting to see, and I really hope Sclavi is playing again, because I'm becoming a huge fan of him overnight. I think he's got a big future. In last week's match, discipline was a bit of an issue. I think Lorenza got a yellow card when the Boks were in the lead, and that kind of let Argentina back. They made the most of their man advantage by throwing the ball around. Now, I expect them to do even more of the same this week, because they are in with a chance of winning the Rugby Championship. I don't know if it's for the first time ever, but first time in recent memory. Now, in order to do so, they need a bonus point win. I think like a double bonus point win, like 4 or 5 points, which means they have to score a lot of tries. Now they've been doing that anyway. Contaponi, I think, is the coach, and that's the way he used to play, and he's coaching. But you can see them turning down kicks to touch, or not kicks to goal at least. And I think South Africa, if they give the ball away, they're going to be forced to defend a lot. So that's going to be really interesting. South Africa have some experience coming in. I think Colby's back in as well. So that back three is going to be firmed up. Fassi is probably going to be playing as well. So this is going to be really interesting in terms of kicking, and they're going to put some high balls in, I think, Argentina, and try and get some change out of the box. But it's going to be a fascinating match, and I think Argentina are going to throw absolutely everything at them, South Africa. But I do think that traveling between Argentina and basically anywhere else in the world is a tough ask. And them playing at home last week gave them that slight advantage they needed to take the win in the end. I think South Africa will have the same again. I expect it to be a high-scoring match. In terms of predictions, I think South Africa will win, but I think there'll be 4 or 5 tries apiece. So if I had to pick a score, I would pick, I'll go adventurous, 45-40 to South Africa. I think Pollard will come on to seal the deal in the last 20 minutes. So that's my prediction for the match, and that would mean that South Africa win their 5th rugby championship. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of banana skins along that path, but I think South Africa, when it comes to crunch games that they've proved in the knockout competitions over the last how many years, they can pull themselves together and produce a big performance and get the job done when it needs to be. And they still have that personnel in there, and particularly this week, to get it done. And I think they will. But the Pumas have been very good value all through this rugby championship. Some magnificent performances. If they hadn't switched off in those odd 1 or 2 matches, then this could be a very different outlook on the rugby championship. So congrats to the Pumas. There's still all to play for them, and I think they'll put their best foot forward. In terms of my followers of this channel, sorry I didn't get a review out of the South African match last week. I was away in the woods camping, doing some bushcraft. By the time I got back, I watched the match, and then I had some equipment that was kaput, so I had to go and buy some new stuff. But it felt a little bit late in the week to put out a review, so I tried to fold some of the observations that I made last week into this prediction video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the match. I think it's going to be a cracker and an absolute classic. So cheers for watching, and I'll see you for the review later this weekend. All right, bye-bye.